What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our mock draft 3.0 post free agency edition. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, Nick, the NFL season just officially begun, and it has been one of the wildest rides in recent memory when it comes to an NFL offseason. We take a look at a mass amount of trades, a lot of players moving teams, just crazy movement across the entire NFL. But now, with most of free agency settled, a lot of these trades pretty much going to be done until we get to the draft. We have our post free agency edition of our mock draft. This will be our mock draft 3.0. And Nick, we get started with the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting defensive end Aidan Hutchinson, the big D end out of Michigan. This guy stands at 6'6", 261 pounds. He is just an absolute manimal. He can get after any quarterback, and he is going to really dominate the trenches in the passing game. He struggles a little bit in the run game, but that'll be for everyone else on the defensive line. Aidan Hutchinson is going to be able to pin his ears back and get after quarterbacks in the AFC South.
And then we take a look at the Detroit Lions, who are hoping to get Aidan Hutchinson. With him off the board, they're going to turn their attention to Kayvon Thibodeaux, who has such star ability, possibly the best player in this draft class. Kayvon has one of the highest ceilings, looks a lot and plays a lot like Von Miller. Kayvon Thibodeaux will be a great asset to Dan Campbell's defense.
At number 3, the Houston Texans are picking Evan Neal, the big-time offensive tackle coming out of the University of Alabama. This guy is an absolute mauler. In the pass game, in the run game, he can do it all. He is the complete package and a perfect blindside protector to grow around your franchise. I believe Evan Neal would be the perfect complement to the Houston Texans.
And then coming at 4, the New York Jets have a lot of things that they need to address here, and they could go offensive line, but cornerback is desperately needed, and there are fewer of them than offensive linemen. We're looking at Sauce Gardner for the New York Jets at number 4 with his long range ability and his ability to lock you down in man coverage. That's exactly what Robert Saleh's looking for, and they select him here at number 4.
At number 5, we see the New York Giants on the clock, and this time they have to solidify the offensive line. So they'll be selecting offensive tackle Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. This guy stands at 6'5", 310 pounds. He reminds me a lot of Tyron Smith of the Dallas Cowboys. He's an incredible athlete, and it would allow Andrew Thomas to move to his natural position of right tackle. Charles Cross can take over at the blindside protection spot and really solidify the bookends on this offensive line, giving DJ plenty of time to pass to his big-time weapons.
Coming in at number 6, we have the Carolina Panthers, who just missed out on Deshaun Watson, and they need to fix up this quarterback position. They are looking to get one of the best quarterbacks in this draft class in Malik Willis. They think that him and Matt Rule will be a great pairing for DJ Moore. They need to make sure that this offense gets back on track. They have not had a franchise quarterback in quite some time. They're hoping to do it with Malik Willis.
At number 7, the Giants are on the clock yet again, and we take a look at some of the needs on the defensive end, and we're taking a look at Kyle Hamilton, the big-time safety out of Notre Dame. This guy is a free-range safety who can run in zone coverage with the best of them. He can play in the box and be a thumper in the run game. He is a do-it-all type of safety, and with Logan Ryan going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is a perfect plug-and-play fit for the New York Giants. I like Kyle Hamilton with the Giants at number 7.
And then coming in at number 8, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan looks like he'll be sticking around, so they've got to worry about that wide receiver position now with Russell Gage going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it might be a little bit too early for that. And then we look at the defense, that pass rush being one of the worst in the NFL. They've got to fix that up, and they go with Trayvon Walker out of Georgia. This guy lit it up, and he'll be an excellent addition to this defense that desperately needs to get more sacks.
At number 9, we see the Seattle Seahawks making a selection. After the trade of Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos, the Seahawks finally have a first-round pick after that terrible trade with the New York Jets for Jamal Adams. Now the Seahawks finally get to fix up their team with a first-round pick, and they draft Jermaine Johnson II, the big-time defensive end out of Florida State. This guy is one of the best This guy is one of the best pure pass rushers we have in this draft class. He is just an absolute beast when it comes to rushing passers, and he's going to be able to pin his ears back in the NFC West and go after some of the big-time quarterbacks that he has to face.
Coming in at number 10, the New York Jets are back on the clock, and after passing up on offensive line for Sauce Gardner, they need to address this right now, and they do. With Ike Ekwonu coming out of NC State, Ike was absolutely dominant, and they need to fix up this right side. He will be a great run-blocking right tackle for the New York Jets. Excellent for Michael Carter, who is stellar last season.
At number 11, the Washington Commanders make their first selection as a franchise, and there are a lot of issues on the offensive side of the ball. The defense is very, very well off. They are set. They're going to leave that alone. It's all about offense in this draft, and when you take a look at some of the issues, Adam Humphries didn't really play last year, and he's gone as a free agent right now. You have just a few wide receivers, not a lot of depth, but if you can get a running mate with Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel, I think that you would have a great offense for Carson Wentz to operate through. I really like Drake London here. I think the big-bodied receiver from USC is going to be the perfect complement to what Terry and Curtis Samuel do. They're going to be able to attack you at all three levels with Logan Thomas in the middle. I love Drake London to the Washington Commanders.
And then coming in at number 12, the Minnesota Vikings desperately need to address the defense, starting with the secondary. This was abysmal for them last year. Patrick Peterson looking like he will not return. They need to get a guy in there who can solidify that CB1 role, and they do so with Derek Stingley. When this guy is on the field, he is absolutely locked down. He can handle everybody, and it doesn't matter what scheme you're running in man or zone coverage, he'll get the job done. Derek Stingley is going to the Minnesota Vikings.
At number 13, the Houston Texans are on the clock after trading Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns. They have yet another first-round draft pick, and that's where they're going to address the defensive side of the ball, taking big edge defender George Karlaftis out of Purdue. This guy is an outside linebacker and defensive end. He can do it all. He is great in both the pass and the run game on the defensive side, and he's going to be one of those pillars that they grow their defense on for years to come.
Coming in at number 14, the Baltimore Ravens just lost their left tackle, Alejandro Villanueva, to retirement. Now they need to fix up this offensive line if Lamar Jackson is going to continue to make improvements going into year 4. Lamar Jackson loves to run the ball, and Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa is a perfect fit. With his nasty streak, he is a great run blocker and can pass protect as well. He's got a lot of upside ahead of him and a perfect replacement for that missing left tackle.
At number 15, the Philadelphia Eagles have the first of 3 first-round draft picks, and we see them selecting Garrett Wilson, the big-time wide receiver out of Ohio State. This guy was a slot machine. He can do everything in the middle of the field and then some. He can cut with the best of them. He can run any route on the route tree. He is just an absolute dynamic weapon that will be a perfect complement to Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts in this offense.
Coming in at 16, the Philadelphia Eagles are back on the clock, and they need to address the other side of the ball on defense. The secondary needs a little bit of help. Darius Slay and Anthony Harris are back there yet again, but Darius Slay needs another running mate, and Trent McDuffie out of Washington is the way to go. He's got a very strong man coverage style that's going to work perfectly to counter what Darius Slay does extremely well in zone coverage. This is a great way for the Eagles to improve their defense.
At number 17, the Los Angeles Chargers are on the clock, and just as things are heating up in the AFC West, the Chargers drop an absolute bomb by drafting big defensive tackle Jordan Davis to replace Linval Joseph in the middle of this defensive line. When you have Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and Jordan Davis on your defense, whew, good luck to the rest of the quarterbacks that they have to face, because they are not going to have good days and good nights of sleep before they have to play the Los Angeles Chargers. This guy standing at 6'6", 340 pounds is just an absolute machine. He takes on 2-3 blockers without even blinking, and he is extremely fast, extremely versatile. He can play in both the run and the pass scheme. I fully expect the Chargers to be all in on getting Jordan Davis in the middle of their defensive line.
Next up at 18, the New Orleans Saints need to address their quarterback situation. Even if Jameis Winston makes his return, he is not their franchise quarterback. They need to figure this out, and they do so with Kenny Pickett. They're used to quarterbacks who have some negative qualities to them. Kenny Pickett, with his small hands, he proved to us at the Combine that that is not an issue, and he'll work perfectly with Michael Thomas.
At number 19, the Philadelphia Eagles get their third pick in the first round, and this time they're drafting Devin Lloyd, the big-time linebacker out of the University of Utah, placing Alex Singleton as the leading tackler for this defense. Devin Lloyd comes in at 6'3", 235. He is an absolute machine. He can run sideline to sideline. He can take on ball carriers in the hole. This guy is a stand-up linebacker that's going to command the defense from the middle of the field. He is an everything Mike linebacker that you need on your defense. Devin Lloyd will be the perfect fit for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And then coming in at number 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers just got Mitch Trubisky to replace Big Ben, but Mitch Trubisky struggled in Chicago and Buffalo with reading defenses, so they go and get center Tyler Linderbaum out of Iowa, one of the highest IQs out of all offensive linemen. This guy can read defenses perfectly and will be great at helping Mitch Trubisky get on track.
At number 21, the New England Patriots are on the clock, and after letting J.C. Jackson walk in free agency to the Los Angeles Chargers, they have a massive hole at the CB1 position. Insert Andrew Booth Jr., the big-time cornerback out of Clemson. This guy stands at 6 feet tall, 195 pounds, and he's equally adept at both man and zone coverages. This guy is a perfect, versatile weapon that Bill Belichick loves to see in his cornerbacks. Any scheme he can come up with, Andrew Booth will be able to deliver. He's going to be able to take on number one receivers and then some. I really like Andrew Booth for the New England Patriots.
Coming in at number 22, the Green Bay Packers taking over where the Las Vegas Raiders were because they traded away Davante Adams. They need to fill that wide receiver one role as soon as possible, and they do. With Treylon Burks, the big receiver out of Arkansas, had a down day at the combine, but the tape speaks for itself. This guy is a burner. He can get great separation, has a lot of traits similar to A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. Treylon Burks will be a great addition to Aaron Rodgers.
At number 23, the Arizona Cardinals need to replace Christian Kirk, who got that massive contract from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Insert Chris Olave, the big-time receiver out of the Ohio State University. Chris Olave, for a number of years, was one of the best wide receivers that college football had to offer. Last year, he had a bit of a down year with Garrett Wilson taking over at Ohio State. Now Olave comes in with a little bit less of a grade than Wilson, but he's still a speedster. He's still a demon on the outside of the numbers. He's going to complement D-Hop perfectly, and he's going to replace Christian Kirk extremely well with Kyler Murray slinging that ball all over the field. I expect Chris Olave to have a ton of targets. Arizona Cardinals, go get your man.
And then coming in at 24, the Dallas Cowboys needing to fix up this offensive line. With La'el Collins being released, they need a right tackle now, and Bernard Raymond fits the mold perfectly. Big body guy who can help in the run game. They need to make sure Ezekiel Elliott gets back on track. Now he's the highest paid running back. He needs to produce as such, and Bernard Raymond should help him get there.
At number 25, the Buffalo Bills are on the clock, and we take a look at Kyler Gordon, the big-time cornerback coming out of the University of Washington, playing opposite of Trent McDuffie. This guy knows how to be a number 2 corner already, and he showed his experience and his capabilities as being one of the top coverage guys in this draft class. Now he's going to be opposite Tre'Davious White, so he already knows how to take that backseat, but also produce at a high level. I think the Buffalo Bills will have the perfect complement, 1-2 punch to take over for Levi Wallace.
Coming in at 26, the Tennessee Titans still need to fix up the secondary, even after drafting Caleb Farley in the first round last year. And they're looking at Florida's corner, Kaiir Elam. He looked incredible at Florida, but struggled with penalties, and he has potential to be a top 3 corner in this draft class, but that is hurting him. And if Mike Vrabel can get him right on track, these two guys can be one of the fiercest cornerback duos in the NFL.
At number 27, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are back in the fold, looking to get back into their win-now mentality. With Tom Brady back in as their starting quarterback, they've got to fix up this defensive line with JPP not around and Ndamukong Suh is gone. Devontae Wyatt, the big defensive tackle out of Georgia, is going to be a perfect complement to Vita Vea and some of the guys that they have on the defensive end. I believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need as many big bodies on the defensive line as possible. That was a big struggle for them late in the season, and I fully expect Devontae Wyatt to be the perfect complement for them moving forward.
At 28, the Green Bay Packers back on the clock, and Aaron Rodgers is not happy after Davante Adams gone, so they got Treylon Burks, but they're not done with the wide receiver position. Getting Jameson Williams at 28. Jameson Williams had over 1,500 yards last season, put together an incredible season, and although he's coming off of a torn ACL, he'll be ready to go for week 1 and a great offset to what Treylon Burks can do.
At number 29, the Miami Dolphins are on the clock, and they take Kenyon Green, the big-time offensive guard out of Texas A&M. This guy is an absolute mauler. He is one of the best guards that we have seen in a long time. He's going to really solidify the middle of this offensive line. I understand that Connor Williams was just signed to the Dolphins, but he is a natural center. So if the Dolphins move him to center and get Kenyon Green, you have a 1 through 5 top-tier offensive line in the NFL. I fully expect the Dolphins to protect Tua at all costs.
Coming in at 30, the Kansas City Chiefs are still needing to address the linebacker position, and we still got a top 3 linebacker on the board in Nakobe Dean. This is a great addition to what was still one of the biggest weaknesses for them in the playoffs last year. Nakobe Dean should be a plug-and-play starter from day one that should have an immediate impact.
At number 31, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, fresh off the La'el Collins signing to a 3-year deal. They have fixed the offensive line as much as they can. It's not really a time to go with another offensive guard right now, so we see them taking Drake Jackson, the big defensive end out of USC. This guy is an absolute monster, somebody who can pin his ears back and get after quarterbacks with the athletic quarterbacks that they have to see all year. AFC West, Lamar Jackson, they have to be ready to chase these guys down. You can never have too much depth on the edge, and I think Drake Jackson would fit perfectly in Cincinnati.
And then finally, coming in at 32, we see the Detroit Lions yet again going on defense, this time linebacker with Leo Chenal out of Houston. Leo Chenal is a big, physical, in-your-face linebacker, great at stopping the run, and if you know anything about Dan Campbell, this guy is all about smash mouth. That's exactly what Leo Chenal does. This is a great guy to set the tempo for the middle linebacker position.
Lions going 2 straight defensive picks after going very offensive heavy last year. I like it. But I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you expect to see happen in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft. Let us know who you want your team to pick, and let us know if we should make any changes to ours. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.